A breakfast adventure. The absurd day of Yilmaz and İlkan. It was early in the morning. Yilmaz and İlkan were sitting around sipping their coffee as usual. There wasn't much new in their daily lives. However, as always, Yilmaz had a strange idea in his mind. Suddenly, he turned to İlkan and asked, "Why don't we open a breakfast cafe?" İlkan knew Yilmaz often came up with these kinds of absurd ideas, and it always surprised him. "What kind of breakfast, Yilmaz?" "We don't know anything about that business," he replied. But Yilmaz, excited, began explaining, "Breakfast cafes are all the rage. Everyone loves going out for breakfast. Eggs, cheese, olives. We can totally capitalize on this." Trying to reason, İlkan asked, "How are we supposed to do that?" "What are you even thinking?" But Yilmaz wouldn't give up. "It's not that hard. Everyone loves breakfast, right? We'll offer a rich breakfast menu. Don't even worry about the details. What could go wrong?" İlkan, knowing Yilmaz was always diving into crazy projects, realized that resisting was futile this time as well. "Fine, let's try it and see what happens," he said. With great excitement, the two friends headed to the market. The idea of opening a breakfast cafe was something they'd never done before, and they had no idea where to even begin. Once they got into the store, Yilmaz started acting like he was a seasoned expert in the business. "First, we need cheese. How many kinds of cheese should we offer? White cheese, cheddar, or both?" he asked. İlkan, swaying side to side, questioned, "Yilmaz, what are we doing?" "One type is enough. What's with the overkill?" But Yilmaz was taking things seriously. "We need to offer variety for a quality breakfast cafe," he insisted. When they reached the olive section, Yilmaz, still full of excitement, asked, "Black or green olives?" "Why not both?" At this point, İlkan was starting to lose his patience. "Enough, Yilmaz. We're just trying this out. We don't need to overcomplicate it with olives. Just pick one and let's go," he said. But Yilmaz, as always, was determined. "We can't compromise on quality," he declared as he grabbed both black and green olives. Yilmaz's eyes lit up when they reached the cured meats. "How can we have breakfast without pastrami, İlkan?" "We have to get it." However, when İlkan saw the price of the pastrami, he started to get annoyed. "Is this really necessary?" "Pastrami's way too expensive for a simple breakfast," he protested. But Yilmaz, as usual, was determined. "A breakfast without pastrami is unthinkable. We need to give our customers the best," he said, adding it to the cart. Finally, when they got back home in the evening, it was time to prepare the breakfast. As soon as Yilmaz stepped into the kitchen, he cheerfully turned to İlkan and said, "We should make menemen, Turkish-style scrambled eggs with tomatoes and peppers, too." İlkan, already exasperated, groaned, "Menemen? We're already starting this whole breakfast cafe thing. Now you want to deal with menemen too?" But Yilmaz was persistent. "You can't have breakfast without menemen, İlkan. People love menemen," he argued. The duo sprang into action in the kitchen. Yilmaz busied himself with plating the cheeses and olives, while İlkan started chopping tomatoes for the menemen. Just when things were in full swing, the electricity suddenly went out, plunging the kitchen into darkness. Panicked, Yilmaz and İlkan tried to keep making the menemen by touch, but things quickly spiraled out of control. Eggs fell out of the pan, the pastrami burned, and the tomatoes didn't cook properly. Finally, İlkan couldn't take it anymore and yelled, "Enough, Yilmaz. We're clearly not cut out for this. Let's just drop the whole breakfast cafe idea." But Yilmaz wasn't ready to give up. "Success doesn't come easily, İlkan. We just need a bit more patience," he replied, trying to calm him down. Right at that moment, the doorbell rang. When Yilmaz opened the door, the building manager was standing there, looking extremely displeased. The kitchen was filled with smoke. "What do you think you're doing in here? You're endangering everyone in the building with this smoke? What's going on?" he barked. Yilmaz and İlkan, completely lost, tried to explain the situation, but the manager wasn't having any of it. And with that, the dream of the breakfast cafe officially came to an end. both of them accepted that it was time to give up on this idea. By the end of the day, the kitchen was a complete mess, covered in grease, burnt eggs, overcooked pastrami, and uncooked tomatoes. Yilmaz and Ilkan looked at each other in the middle of the chaos. "Don't ever come to me with a crazy idea like this again, Yilmaz," Ilkan said. Yilmaz, in his usual laid-back way, just smiled and said, "Everything in life is worth trying, Ilkan." The two of them, exhausted from the absurd day, started cleaning up the kitchen. Their dream of a breakfast cafe was over, but the wild adventure they had lived through was something they would never forget.